Hello, welcome back again. Thank you so much for joining me this week. So this week we're going to work on some heart openers or kind of back bends, back stretches, really getting the heart open because we spend a lot of our time in life hunched over. So we're just going to find some ways to open up, find a little bit of stretch through the chest and openness through the body. So we're going to get started on our backs first, but first go grab a blanket or a pillow because you're going to want that for this first part. If you have 2 yoga blocks, use 2 yoga blocks. That's awesome too. If you have a blanket, you're just going to take your blanket and just kind of roll it up into a burrito. And then we're just going to lay it down so that we can bring the shoulder blades and the head onto the blanket. You can also use 2 blocks. You can use 1 block for the head, 1 block for between the shoulder blades. So just gently laying yourself down. You can also use a pillow for this. Making sure that you have support on the head. Just finding a comfortable place to rest. And then the arms can come out beside you. And you can find a comfortable place for the legs. The feet can be on the mat with the feet a little wider than hip distance with the knees falling in towards each other. You can also allow the legs to extend out long. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together and the knees open up. But that just feels a little tight in my hip flexors to start off. So I'm just going to start here with the feet planted and knees together. If you have anything in the lower back that likes to talk to you, then this is a wonderful place to start with the feet, and then just allowing the arms to open up, finding the stretch in the chest. So the further away the arms move from you, a little bit deeper into the chest stretch you're going to get. So on a scale of 1, no pain or no sensation, and 10 being pain, find about a 4 or a 5 on your sensation scale in the chest. And then closing the eyes or just softening the gaze and bringing your awareness to the breath. And just starting to use those exhales to soften into the body. Really feeling the shoulders growing heavy. Really breathing into the chest so that as you inhale, you feel that expansion. You breathe into that stretch happening in the chest, and the exhales just soften, release. Finding a few more of those deep, slow breaths. Just noticing as you lay here, noticing any sensations that start to come up into the body, breathing gently into them, noticing any thoughts that start to come into the mind, gently returning your awareness back to the breath. And just taking maybe a minute here, just enjoying the stillness. Breathing deep into it. Noticing if those breaths start to soften, kind of grow shallower, gently drawing them in a little bit deeper. Returning your awareness back to any of those sensations in the body. Anywhere where you can draw that breath in nice and deep. Taking just a few more breaths here. Noticing that as you get quiet, thoughts about worrying about whether or not the video is still going comes into your mind, not worrying about it. If the video stops while you're here, this is a wonderful place to stay for the next few minutes until you figure it out. Just letting all concerns just drift away. Growing easy and soft. We'll take about 3 more of these deep, smooth breaths. And then gently drawing the arms across your chest like you're giving yourself a hug. And feeling the shoulder blades starting to separate on your back, breathing into that. If you did have the soles of the feet together and the knees apart, gently drawing the knees back together. And however you feel best doing it, either rolling over or coming up, we're going to find our way off of our props just so that we can move them out of our way. And then coming onto your back again. Drawing the knees in once you're there. Gentle rock side to side. And then bring the feet down so the knees are bent, the feet plant on the mat. Bring the hands down next to you, just resting them by your hips, palms on the ground. Soften the shoulder blades underneath of you. Keep the neck nice and long and the gaze up at the sky. And then as you inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips up, not super high. Just starting to feel into that stretch. Exhale, lowers it back down, rolling down the spine. We'll find a couple of those. Inhale, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. Exhale, rolling it back down the spine. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, gently lowers it back down. Inhale. And exhale. Next time we're going inhale, lifting, holding here for a breath or two. Really feeling that press down into the feet. Feeling the opening, the tops of the legs, the hip flexors, the chest. Feeling the shoulders gently press down. Feeling the palms, the arms gently press down. Keeping that neck nice and long. One more inhale, lifts the hips maybe just a little higher. Exhale, roll it back down, draw the knees in. Find that gentle sway side to side. And then the hands can come behind the knees, and we're just going to start to rock forward and back along the length of the spine. And we can use that momentum to bring us up to seated. Maybe you just roll over onto the side and press yourself up. That's good too. Finding your seated position. So the legs crossed in front of you. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, bring the right hand down. Left arm reaches up and over. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale. Once more time, each side. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, bring it up. We're going to start to rotate the belly button towards that right knee. The chest follows, and the hands can just rest down. Left hand on the knee, right hand behind the hip. Notice if you're putting all your weight into that back hand. See if you can shift it forward into the hips. So I'll give you another view as you breathe and lengthen here and exhale, soften into the twist. Sometimes we lean back into that hand. We want to bring the hand up a little closer, moving the weight forward into the hips, finding the length in the spine. And gently release. We'll take it to the other side. So inhale, lengthen, starting to rotate the belly button towards the left knee, chest follows, hands can come down to support you in that twist. Continuing to breathe deep and slow into it. Keeping that weight in the hips and not in the back hand. Nice. And we're just going to bring the hands behind our hips. The palms can either face towards the hips or away. You're just going to start to lift the heart up, pressing the belly forward. Maybe the gaze goes up. Start to feel this in the shoulders as well as the chest. Breathing into it. And gently release. Let's come to our tabletop. Swing the legs around behind you. Hips stack over knees, shoulders over wrist, finding a couple cat-cows. So the inhale drops the belly, and the exhale arches the back. Inhale, drop the belly, find your cow. Exhale, press the ground away. Finding a few more. And finding a neutral spine, spreading the knees, pressing the hips back towards the heels. Find your child's pose. Feeling that length happening in the spine. So feel the tailbone start to reach back. As maybe the fingertips start to inch forward just a little bit. Shoulder blades softening onto your back. Feeling that drawing forward. Getting heavy in the hips. And inhale, bring yourself up to your tabletop. Lift yourself up high up onto the knees. We're going to bring one leg forward, doesn't matter which one, because we're just going to press into that thigh, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, lift yourself up to standing. Spread the feet wide on your mat. And then we're going to turn the right toes towards the end of the mat. Feel the tailbone tuck, the lower ribs pull together, reach the arms apart, and bend into that front knee. So the back toes want to point off straight to the side. And we want to make sure that this front knee is tracking over the ankle. So if you bend in too deep, the knee goes over the foot, over the toes. It's going to start putting more pressure on the knee. So we want to make sure that it stays over the ankle or behind. Breathing into your warrior two. And then flip the front palm, bring the back hand down, reach those right fingertips up, find length, and back. Breathing into that length happening on the side of the body. Inhale, bring it back up, warrior two. Bring the forearm down onto that front thigh. Back arm reaches up and over. Feel the shoulder blades soften back into its socket. Lower ribs pull together. See if you can press any more energy out through that back foot. Inhale, bring yourself back up, warrior two. Straighten the front knee, turn the toes to the side of the mat. Now bring the hands to the hips and just start to hinge it forward. And the hands can lower down. Bringing the hands onto the floor, or if you have a block, maybe they come onto the block. And just allow the upper body to just kind of gently sway side to side. Growing heavy and soft. Take one more deep inhale. Use that last exhale to soften just a little bit more in the upper body. Hands come back to the hips, and we'll inhale, lift it back up. Open the arms up, left toes turn towards the end of the mat. Bend back into that knee. Stacking knee over ankle, pulling lower ribs together. Softening the shoulders. Finding the breath. Flip the front palm up, back hand comes down. Reverse your warrior. Feel that reach up and back through the fingertips, breathing into the side of the body. Inhale, bring it back, warrior two. Front forearm comes onto that thigh. Back fingertips reach up and over, softening the shoulder blade down, pulling lower ribs together, grounding down through the feet. Inhale, bring yourself back up, warrior two. Straighten that knee, turn the toes, bring the feet back together. And we're going to interlace the hands behind the hips and just gently starting to draw the fist down. Feel the tailbone tuck, lower ribs pull together. Reach the heart, the gaze up. And maybe you find a gentle standing back bend here. Maybe you just find this opening in the chest, feeling the shoulder blades pull together. And release. We'll come back down to our tabletop, finding a couple cat-cows. Spread the knees, find another child's pose. Continue to breathe into it here, just softening, especially breathing into that lower back. Inhale yourself up to your tabletop. We're going to find a thread the needle. So reach your right arm up and open. Exhale, thread that hand down and through, coming onto the right shoulder. Gaze can go to the left. Maybe the right arm reaches to the top of the mat as the tailbone reaches back. And gently bring that left hand back in if it wandered away. Inhale, we'll open back up to the right. Lower it back down. Find that tabletop. And we'll find the other side. Left arm reaches up and open. Exhale, thread that left hand down and through, coming onto the left shoulder. Right hand can stay close to the face, finding that stability. Or it can reach to the top of the mat and the tailbone reaches back, breathing into it. And bring that hand back in. Press down, open back up to the left. And lower it down. We're going to find our way onto our bellies. We're going to find our locust. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders. The chin or the forehead rests on the mat, whichever one allows you to continue to breathe. Feel the tailbone gently start to tuck as the lower ribs pull together, sealing that core in. And then as you inhale, start to pull the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart a few inches up off the ground, keeping the gaze low. Breathing here, finding a deep inhale, slow exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, lower it down, side of the face onto the mat. Bend the knees and allow the feet to fall side to side, just feeling that sway out through the hips, softening in the lower back. And we'll lower the feet down again. Chin or the forehead back on the mat. Pull that core in. Inhale, lift the chest. Feel the shoulder blades pulling together. And maybe the hands start to float as you find those breaths. One more inhale. And exhale, opposite side of the face onto the mat. Bend the knees and allow the feet to fall side to side. And lower it down behind you, the feet down behind you. Just breathing here for a moment. And gently press it up, all the way back. Child's pose, just taking one more deep inhale here, pulling it all the way into the lower back. Exhale, let it go slowly, smoothly back out. Inhale yourself up to your tabletop, and we'll swing the legs around in front of us again. We'll pull the toes in, maybe pull the glutes out from underneath of you, trying to get that tilt forward in the pelvis. And the hands come to either side of the legs. Lengthen the spine. So you can stay here, just pulling the toes in, feeling the stretch happening in the back of the legs, feeling that heart reach forward, keeping the nice long spine. Or if you don't have any lower back twinging or anything like that, you can just soften the upper body down as far as it wants to come. Using those exhales to grow heavy and soft. One more cycle of breath. And then slowly walking the feet back up. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Hands come behind the knees, and we'll roll ourselves back down onto our backs. Finding that gentle sway side to side. And we'll find a final twist before we find our Shavasana. So allowing the knees to first fall over to the left. You can open the arms up at a T. And if it's comfortable with the neck, the gaze can go right. So breathing deeply into the right side of the body, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. And we'll gently draw the knees back up and in. Find that little rock side to side. And then the knees can fall over to the right and the gaze can go left if that's comfortable with your neck. And again, finding that deep, slow breath, breathing in to the left side of the body. So feeling that rise and fall. And again, gently drawing the knees back in. Find that one more little rock side to side. And then we're going to find our Shavasana. So maybe your legs extend out long on the mat. Maybe you take your rolled up blanket or your pillow and you bring it underneath the knees so that the knees have a nice little soft bend in them. But whatever you're putting under there, you want to make sure that the heels can rest on the ground and they're not completely suspended above the ground by your prop. And this can feel really good to the lower back. The other option is if your lower back is talking to you, because we did a lot of opening and a little bit of compression into the lower back. So if it's talking to you, you can just bend the knees, bring them to either side of your mat and bend the knees, bring the feet to either side of the mat, and the knees can fall in towards each other. That can be very softening on the lower back and can feel really good. So finding where you want to be for your Shavasana. And then softening yourself in. Take one more deep inhale. Slow exhale out. And then just allowing the breath to return to its natural cadence. Just continuing to grow heavy, soft into the mat, releasing any lingering tension in the lower back, the chest, the shoulders. And then we'll just take a few minutes and allow ourselves to rest. And gently starting to draw your awareness back to your breath. Drawing in that energy with the inhale. Letting go of all lingering tension with the exhale. Bringing small movements into the hands and the feet, slowly waking the body back up. And then finding any larger movements that feel good. Slowly growing deeper in the breath. And then once you're ready, gently bringing yourself back to a seated position. Grounding down through the hips, growing nice and tall through the spine. Bringing the hands to heart center. And taking this moment to cultivate a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for your practice and for every breath. Gratitude towards someone or something in your life. And gratitude towards yourself. And I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I will see you again in next week's video. And I can't wait till we get started back up at the library in January. Until then, namaste.